up, guys? This is Chris Aniello from No Holding Back. Today, I wanted to take the time to talk about another serious topic. I know last video I wanted to bring awareness to mental health. I felt like it was very important to do that. I want to stray away from sports and movies and comic books and music for a while and just focus on another video about bringing awareness on body standards, because I feel social media imposes false body standards that we have to look a certain way. We have to look like models or celebrities in movies to be happy, to love ourselves. And I feel that that is totally wrong because we should love ourselves no matter how we look. And if we're okay how we look right now, we shouldn't let videos or pictures on Instagram or Twitter or in movies make us feel like we're not good enough. And today I have Brianna on the podcast, the first woman on my podcast, and I'm really happy and fortunate to finally have a woman on my podcast because I know a lot of the viewers might be asking, why you always have men on the podcast? And I'm like, you know what? A lot of women, unfortunately, are very shy that I know that would like to do a podcast, but they just are afraid of screwing up, and I totally understand that. So thank you, Brianna, for being so brave today and coming on the podcast and giving your perspective on this topic.
Hi, I'm really happy to be here today, and I'm very honored to be the first woman guest on the podcast. And I'm really excited to talk about this topic because I feel like it's something that a lot of people, both men and women, are scared to talk about or feel insecure to talk about because no one really wants to talk about their insecurities. So that's why I'm really happy to be here today. And, I'll try my best to talk for all women, but again, I can't because I'll be talking from my perspective, and with that, I'll try to, cover how most women I know feel and people that I know, men and women. So I'm really happy to be talking about this today.
No problem. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to start off by asking you a question that stems all the way back to when we were little. So, I don't know what like young girls go through like when it comes to body standards, if they really see it, if they really have, if it really has a really big impact on them. Because as a guy, we didn't really think about that stuff. It was like, oh, let's go play sports and stuff. Let's just do whatever. We didn't really focus on our bodies. But as a girl, as a young girl, did you see anything on TV or look at your parents, aunts, anyone of the female gender and feel like imposed or like that's you wanted to be like that one day, and then you saw the way that you looked and like you felt a little bit like insecure about yourself at a young age?
Well, since we were younger, like there was always an ideal body type, and even though you might not realize it, it is there. So I think it kind of, like it gets into your subconscious without you even realizing it. So when you're younger, we're playing with Barbies, and Barbies all were had that like perfect body that when you look at now is extremely unrealistic, and nobody could really have a body like that. But there was never any super tall Barbies or super short Barbies or Barbies with dark features or anything like that. Like it was always that like perfect thin tall blonde blue eyes like model, I guess, that you were looking at. And then as you got older, you started watching TV and cartoons and the Disney princesses. All the princesses kind of had the same body and looked the same. And as you get older, that kind of morphs into more like now we look at the Kardashians, let's say, and Kylie Jenner, and like through each stage of our life, there's always something that we're looking at that we're comparing ourselves to. So we started off playing with Barbies and being like, oh, why don't I look like a Barbie? And now that we're going into like, teenage adult years, we're looking at celebrities like the Kardashians, or like right now everyone's, comparing themselves to TikTokers and Addison Rae, and everyone's saying, oh, like she's perfect, I want to look like that. So throughout from childhood to now, as you grow, even I'm sure adults like in their like, middle-aged women, I'm sure everyone's always looking at that perfect body and wishing that they can be like that.
So basically, what you're trying to say is that the old body standard is that you have to be very skinny, tall, blonde hair, blue eyes, for example. And now we've transitioned to a time where you have to have a little bit more meat on you. You have to have a nice butt, a
Yeah.
pair of boobs, It's not like if you're skinny, you're not beautiful anymore. You have to like keep up with the times. And as there's a new role model, as they would say, you know, we've transitioned from like a Paris Hilton hybrid to a Kim Kardashian hybrid, and those are two different types of people. And now, when back in the day, people would be like, Paris Hilton is the most beautiful woman on the planet, and then they would compare it to Kim Kardashian and be like, ah, nah, she's too like she has too much meat on her, for example. But as of now, that has completely shifted its focus, and now had a swap sides, and now it's the other way around.
I think it's kind of crazy how like body types became a trend, and like it's like trendy to look a certain way instead of just like being healthy and liking how you look. People like think body types are a trend. So like I like a couple years back it was definitely like a big thing, to be that like slim, thick hourglass. But if like now it's kind of coming back to being that like super like stick thin model, because like now for example with Brandy Melville, it's a store that is one size fits all, but that one size fits all is an extra small 00 size. So everyone now is like trying to get that Brandy Melville style, but you can't really get that unless you're a size 00. And it kind of like I mean it makes like the girls who are thinner feel very included, and then girls who are bigger, it just makes them feel like, okay, like if that's that one size that we're supposed to be, then I guess like I'm not good enough because I don't fit into that one size. So like how you said about like Paris Hilton and Kim Kardashian, it like those are like body types that became like trends. So like there's an hourglass trend, then there's like that super like flat model type body trend, and it like changes every year, and it's everyone's always trying to change themselves to keep up with the trends. But at the end of the day, your body is your body. You can't really be changing it to follow a trend.
Look, the best example I could say from a man's perspective is Zac Efron. Okay, recently he came out and said, "I will never get as ripped as I did when I did Baywatch," because he was unhappy with himself, because not only felt that like it's very, it's, I wouldn't say unhealthy because he was very healthy. It's just that he wasn't happy with himself. There's a lot of things he couldn't eat, a lot of things he couldn't do, in order to be happy and to keep that body image. So he realized, this is not me. This is what Hollywood wants me to do. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And as a role model, because a lot of people were like saying, "Oh my God, I want that Zac Efron body from like 2 years ago." I think Baywatch was in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, or 2017. People were like freaking out, like how back then when he started off in High School Musical, he was skinny, had that Justin Bieber like weird haircut, Then that back then that was the body everyone wanted. And now we saw that transition where he was buff, short hair, slicked back hair, very tanned, and then we're like, what the hell, like this guy, like he became a bodybuilder
Yeah.
from like a little skinny like toothpick.
I feel like it's like like as you said, he was very healthy, but there comes to a point where you have to draw the line between being physically healthy and being mentally healthy. And at that point, I feel like it was like basically just like mental torture for him to try and do something that he didn't want to do just to like, fit for like that movie's standard that he had to be. And I think that like plays a part in everyone's life where you try to do the most that you can to fit in with everyone, and you try to follow everything that social media says to fit that perfect like model type body and be perfect. But at the end of the day, you're like deteriorating your mental health trying to be something that you're not, when you could just like love yourself for who you are, rather than basically destroy your health, destroy your mental health to like fit that image.
And we need more guys like Zac Efron, because I honestly feel he's one of the most down to earth, nicest celebrities out there. And if you watch his recent documentary, you can look at his body now. Everyone's saying he has the dad bod. So like, yeah, he has a little bit of muscle still there, but he has a little bit of a belly now. You know, he's a little bit more meaty. He doesn't have that 6 pack or 8 pack that he did
Yeah,
two,
like
3 years
super
ago.
ripped.
And people were actually saying that's amazing, because what he said was not BS. He stuck to his word, and look at him now. he's happy the way he is. He has a big lumberjack beard, and he didn't care about his appearance. He was so happy, and I didn't get a chance to finish that Netflix mini series, but honestly, he's at the best moment or part of his life right now, I feel, because he's doing what he loves and he's finding himself. And I feel like at that stage that he's in right now is the best you can be as a role model. So congrats to Zach for that. And I hope that, he continues being a leader and for generations to come, and people could be inspired by that and not have to look at other um, celebrities and be like, oh, I want to look like Chris Hemsworth, look at that Thor body, you know. Look at Ben Affleck, for example. He had a fantastic body for Batman. And then after, unfortunately, he was very abusive with alcohol and he got overweight and stuff. And people called him out. They said, oh, Batman's not fat. What happened to him? Now he's fat man. And I know it sounds ridiculous and people might laugh at that, but it's actually sad because the guy was dealing with something, and he gained a couple of pounds, and yeah, he was overweight, but he was dealing with something. And if you don't keep up with the times, no matter what the excuse is, you're like considered as not following the trend or a failure. And I feel that social media is very, very deadly and cancerous when it comes to that, because they show you when you're at your best and show you when you're at your worst, and they do a comparison. I've seen that so many times on posts, and it's really unfortunate to see that.
Yeah, like for example, right now, someone from like the female perspective who's been getting like blasted on social media has been Madison Beer, because people have been comparing her old pictures to her new pictures, saying that, like, claiming that she got a bunch of plastic surgery when like in reality they just took like a really bad picture of her from the past and then like a really good picture from her now, and they're comparing those two. And then like even though she is like super pretty, you might think she has like this like perfect life. I'm sure that everyone, literally like all of social media attacking her right now, is definitely like doing something to her mental health, because like she's probably like finally felt happy with herself, and then everyone's calling it fake and saying like, oh, like you're fake, you're getting plastic surgery to fit in with everyone. And that also, like, let's say talking about Kylie Jenner, I'm like, she might seem perfect to everyone else, but the fact that they always feel the need to constantly be getting new surgeries and new adjustments to their appearance, it must, mean something deep down. And I'm sure that they try to keep up with the trends, and they try and keep up with, fitting that perfect image, because I'm sure it's a lot of pressure on them also that, the Kardashians know that they are the whole entire like standard for women right now, like in this generation. So I'm sure they feel that pressure too to keep up with it.
And it's hilarious because if you look at them, they at each one individually, it's like they represent every single model. If you think about it, you
Yeah.
have Kim Kardashian, the hourglass, okay, Kendall Jenner, the tall,
Like model.
model type of body. He's very, very skinny, not too much meat compared to her sisters. Then you have Courtney, the small, shorter one, but
Yeah.
with some elements that are attractive and appealing to the male gaze. Then you have, what's her name?
Chloe.
Chloe, the more of the plus size or a little bit chubbier one, but like, at the same time has a very beautiful face. I'm not saying that they're all like I'm not trying to rank them or compare them, but I'm just trying to compare them to every single type of body shape there is right now, because if you look at it, they kind of or somewhat represent individual body types.
Yeah.
And another thing is talking about Khloe Kardashian is that a lot of people scolded her and insulted her because she was chubbier compared to her sisters. And look at her now. She's doing everything possible to lose weight. She's not, I don't, yeah, of course she's probably doing it for herself to be happy. But because she got bullied and shamed because she didn't look like the rest of her sisters, I think that plays a factor into what she did and her decision to lose all that weight.
I'm sure like if she wasn't a Kardashian and she wasn't in this position, then it wouldn't even be like a thought in her brain that like, oh, I'm the ugly one, or like, because like that's what people were calling her, being like, oh, like I'm the big one, like whatever. Like I'm sure if she wasn't in this position that she is in, like that wouldn't even be a thought in her head that like she had to, make all these changes. And then now that she's like under this spotlight, it's like you feel like you have to be perfect. And looking at all of her sisters saying that, like, oh, like, look at them, everyone wants to be like that. She for sure felt so much pressure and wanted to change herself to be like that.
And if you look at it in our perspective as normal people, in high school, all the popular people, all the beautiful people, they had to maintain this beauty standard, to look like celebrities and to look the sexiest and the prettiest, and the most beef, and whatever words you want to describe as good looking, and then you finish high school and you see them down the line in life, and a lot of them do not maintain that body image. They gain weight, they lose their hair, you know, they're not as, muscular. And then you have, the scrawny looking kids in high school that were very insecure about themselves. They didn't uh, keep up with times, they didn't feel the need to look like the rest of those people. And then you look at them now and they're basically jacked up,
Yeah, like total transformation.
total transformation. Yeah, total transformation. But as well, puberty is a big factor as well. And sometimes you look at yourself and you're like, you know what, I want to improve myself to look better. That there's no problem with that. If you tell yourself, I want to try to make myself and transform myself into the best looking guy possible with what I have, without spending money, without doing anything really drastic, sorry, do it. If that makes you happy, do it. Like, I'm all for it. Like back in high school, perfect example is that I used to have glasses. I used to have my hairstyle a different ways, to dress differently. And then through the years, I started changing my hairstyle, got rid of the glasses, dressed differently. In my like opinion, I would say even better. And I know this is probably like the best I'll ever look, and I'm okay with that. But I'll never ever spend money to add things to make myself look better, because I'm happy with the way I look. And it's okay to gain weight sometimes and shed it or whatever. But even if you do gain weight eventually, and you're happy with it and you're okay, because you want to eat more stuff, for example, that people usually say, oh, it's unhealthy, whatever. Yeah, it's okay to listen to those people because they're concerned for your health. It's not okay to be unhealthy. But it doesn't matter what your body shape looks like in the future or what it looks now, because if you're happy and it puts a smile on your face and you have people that love you for who you are, that's all that matters.
Like in like talking about high school, I remember like me and my friends would be so scared to like wear anything that was considered like different, because all the people who were considered, as the populars, cropped up in tights, like that was the uniform. If you weren't wearing that, you weren't cool. So like anytime anyone in the whole school wanted to wear something that was literally like so normal, like jeans, you would get looked at weird for
Yeah.
wearing jeans because you weren't wearing Lululemons. And it's like you don't realize how much that like affects your mental health when you feel like you can't even be yourself because you're comparing yourself to all these other people, and you're looking at them and you're saying, well, if they're getting so much love and they're getting praised so much for like wearing like such a basic outfit like tights and crop top, then why would I want to wear something that's like different when I know that it's not going to get that same reaction as it does with them. And like as you go out through the years, like now we're in college, and me and my friends all kind of like grew out of that, like caring about what people think, and we're all kind of doing our own thing. And it really like the shift in mental health and like the perspective on it is really like changed when you realize like you gotta just do whatever you want, because at the end of the day everyone's focused on themselves, and you might think that everyone's staring at you and everyone's making fun of you, but everyone's so hyper focused on themselves and their own flaws and insecurities that no one really cares about anyone else except themselves at the end of the day.
Yeah. And then, like, let's say you run into those people in the future, you know, they might look at you and be like, oh my God, they look amazing right now. And then I feel shitty about myself. You know, maybe you should have, you know, been more aware and focused on like what other people thought about you back in the day. Maybe they felt the way that you're feeling now. Maybe they looked at you and were like, I wish I could be more like him. I could dress like him. I could have that six pack, or I could have that ass like her, you know? And now sometimes what happens is that people fall off the map, as you can say, and they they gain weight, they don't look the same, they get older with age, obviously, and they look different. And then you look at people which you used to look down upon, and then you're the insecure one. And it's very unfortunate that that happens for both parties, to be honest, for both sides, because that's part of life. It happens a lot. I see it a lot. There's a lot of people I see that went through that transition, either for better or for worse. you know but if you're happy with yourself, it doesn't matter if you gain a couple of pounds, you don't look exactly the same that you did in high school. As long as you respect yourself, and like I was saying before, you're happy with how you look, and you're successful in life. Because if you really think about it, it's about being successful in life, what you accomplished in life, not about how you look in life. You know, some people may say, yeah, you need to look appealing and stuff. Yeah, well, look decent, but that's basically it. Just look decent. You don't. When you go into a job interview, you're not gonna be like, "Yo, did you see my six pack?"
Yeah.
Like, what? You're gonna write that down on your CV? Like, it makes no sense. It's
Yeah.
not like impactful. It means nothing.
I feel like right now, like at our age, or like, like people of our generation, or anyone who's like a teenager at any time, like they feel like looks is the most important thing, because at the end of the day, that's what social media makes it seem. Like, if let's say you go on TikTok, the ones who are the most famous are the ones who are the most attractive.
Yeah,
And then if you like anyone, it's funny, like even in shows and everything, anyone who looks different is considered like the weird one in the show, or on like online. It's like anytime you don't fit that like perfect like image, you're considered the weird one.
and unfortunately, because of social media, and I want to point fingers at social media because they're literally a major cause in this, is anorexia.
Hmm.
Okay, a lot of women and men suffer from this because of social media. So shame on you, social media, for doing that to a lot of good people, because they want to look like certain body types,
Yeah.
because they want to follow the trend. Those poor people are suffering because of social media, and it enrages me because it's so unfair that in life you already have enough problems to deal with, and now social media is supposed to make us feel happy, feel positive, not feel down about ourselves and feel insecure and look at other people's life and create jealousy because you want to be like them. And I applaud the people that have overcome anorexia and are happy and are looking amazing no matter how they look like.
Yeah.
I applaud you guys because you overcame social media's bullshit. That's the nicest way I can say it, because you know it's just for me, I feel like just a whole conspiracy. Like, social media, they want you to think that they do good for us and better for us to make our lives more impactful, and follow the trends and everything, but it hurts a lot of people as much as it helps a lot of people. So I just wanted to take the time to say that for people that are suffering from anorexia, I'm totally sorry. I hope there you find something that motivates you to overcome it, and people that have overcome it, I applaud you guys for overcoming it. It's very, very hard for a lot of people to overcome. And if you're happy with you are right now, I wish the best for the rest of your lives and that you never go back to that state again.
Yeah, like little trigger warning of eating disorders, but like I know so many people, including myself, who at some point or another have suffered eating disorders, and like it takes a toll on your mental health. It completely destroys you. It's like all you could ever think about, and it's all you could ever focus on, and it like people don't realize it, because you might not look like you're suffering from the outside, and on the inside you're literally deteriorating. And at the end of the day, you think, where could have this come from? And it does a lot of the time. Not saying for everyone, because I'm just speaking on behalf of myself and people that I know, but it does come and stem from social media. And you look at people, and everyone all day is literally just comparing themselves to each other. Like everything is just one big competition in all aspects, and everyone is always fighting to be that like perfect image. And it takes such a toll on mental health for men and women. And I know that not a lot of men like to talk about like their like struggles with mental health, but I know from a lot of people in my life that they have struggled with mental health in regards to insecurities and eating disorders and everything like that. And also to ask you from a guy's perspective, like, how do you feel about like guys not wanting to talk about like mental health and not wanting to talk about like their like body standards because they're like insecure about it?
Well, I mean, I feel that there's a stereotype when it comes to men opening up to each other. It's seen as more of a female thing to do. I feel that we have to open up to each other, express ourselves more. A lot of guys are like, bro, what are you talking about that? I don't want to talk about that. It's go, bro, that's such a female thing to do. You're not feminine. Go talk to your girlfriend. Go
Yeah.
talk to your mom. Go talk to your cousins or something. Go talk to your girlfriends. You know, don't about this kind of stuff with me because I don't like deal with it. I don't understand you. And because of people like that, that stereotype follows that, if you are open and you want to talk about problems and be there for each other, you fall into the category of being more feminine than masculine. And I know a lot of guys go to the gym because they want to prove something, to look better and feel better, and to go to not body competitions, bodybuilding
Yeah.
competitions, and they want to compete. Though I know people like that, and I applaud you guys. Honestly, like that's fantastic. You're finding something, apart from schooling or work that makes you happy, and you could see that as a hobby or, uh, you know, part of your goals in life to succeed in, and to at least say, I've managed to get my body to where I want it, and I can compete and at least say, I've, I could check that off my bucket list. But there's a lot of people that just go to the gym just because they're like, I'm not happy with myself because look what I see on social media. I don't look like Dwayne the Rock Johnson, for example. I don't look like Chris Evans, Captain America, and a lot of the stigma and the stigma with that is that we have to follow how superheroes look. We have to have the six pack and stuff, and that goes back to Robert Pattinson saying that it's a trend, saying that you don't need to be that fit and bulky to be a superhero, and because that's what he was saying in his I think it was GQ or Vogue interview that he had concerning the Batman role that he's going to be starring in, because people are like, why, what have you been doing for exercising, and have you been going to the gym and stuff? And he's like, no, I've just been dealing with the same stuff. I barely exercise and stuff. He's a very sarcastic guy. And then it was later rumored that he was working out, but I think he did that to prove a point.
To show that like, look, I don't need to be doing all these things to
Yeah,
get this role. Like,
and that's another role model we could discuss. Like that's another celebrity that is trying to make an effort and set an example and trying to make us feel like we don't need to look like that. Because in comics the way that they're drawn is that they're all bulky and
yeah.
muscular. The women, same thing. And more celebrities need to focus on that. They need to think about their fans. They need to people that view them and stuff, on TVs and movies and stuff, that you don't need to look like us. We're just trying to, I know it's a stereotype and it's bad, but like we're just doing it just because we're an actor and we're told to do that. But that's not real life. This is it's a movie. It's fantasy. You guys are living real life. Stay the way you are. Just support us in our movies. That's it.
I feel like a lot of like celebrities and influencers and everyone like the main thing that everyone looks at is appearance. Like no one even cares about like talent anymore. Like it's like
Yeah.
if you're hot, you got it. But like so one role model that I really look up to is Billie Eilish because I don't know if a lot of people notice, but like, the way she dresses, she only wears like huge baggy
Yeah.
clothes.
I saw
And
that.
it's because she doesn't want people to be focused on her body. Like when she's performing, when she's singing, when she's talking, like she wants people to be focused on what she has to say, like the message she's trying to spread, and not like, oh, listen to her, she's hot. Like that's what a lot of people do. Like Kylie Jenner, like when you like all the Kardashians, going back to them again, like people follow them because they're considered hot. Like when we in reality, like
They don't really have talents.
they don't really like, I'll give it to them, they're good businesswomen, but like
Yeah.
they don't really have much intelligent things to say, and everyone just follows them because they're hot. And like that's what it is in the end of the day. Like people think that like you need to be hot to have any importance in life or any value to you. And that's so bad because like you don't realize how negative that is on your mental health. And like that's all social media tends to focus on, is on appearance and on looks. And I think we really need to stray away from that. And I know we have evolved as a society to like be more inclusive of all body types and everything, but I think we still have a really long way to go
Of
on
course.
being fully inclusive for everyone. And it's all about the little steps. Like everyone individually can take their little steps and move towards a better, outlook on appearance and body standards. And I truly believe that one day, like, everyone will overcome this, and like appearance won't be a main factor anymore. But at the end of the day, it always will matter to society.
Like, it's crazy how far we've come from, when, media, newspapers, magazines and stuff used to depict women as this is like the body type that you want. You go all the way back to like the 1950s, Marilyn Monroe. If you looked like that, you were gorgeous.
Yeah,
If you were skinny, didn't have that much meat, you weren't as pretty.
yeah,
Then you go all the way, to the 80s, where it's okay to be skinny, but you need to have big boobs. And then moving all the way now to present time, you gotta have a little bit of meat on your hips, on your ass. You have to have nice
that like
boobs.
slim thick
The slim
look.
thick. It's crazy how many times the body standards change over the decades. And for me, this is what I say: beauty comes in the eye of the beholder. It does not matter. Don't fall in love and go for people, or find, or talk to women or men that, look like the body type or the standards that are shown. But like, if you are sexually appealing towards that person because you're like, wow, that person is gorgeous, and yeah, maybe she's a little bit more, she has a little bit more weight, or maybe that guy has a little bit of a belly, or maybe he's bald, or whatever the so-called imperfections that social media tries to make us feel that
Yeah.
they're imperfections. If you're attracted to that, go ahead, because at the end of the day, it's about your happiness and what you find sexually appealing, not what other people tell you to do, to go after. Because if you go after people that you're not appeal to, then what's the point? You're just wasting everyone's time, and you're not even happy at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
like look, at the end of the day, you can, let's say you find someone, you think he's like, from a girl's perspective, you think he's like the hottest guy in the whole entire world. He fits your exact type that you're looking for. But like eventually, let's say you guys get married, you grow old together, you're both gonna be wrinkly and bald and ugly. And like at the end of the day, it's the personality that keeps you around. Like you can meet like the hottest guy ever and he'll be like the worst person ever, and then you realize like, wow, like he might be super attractive, but like I'm miserable with him because he treats me like garbage and he's such a bad person.
The point is trying to find a balance.
Yeah,
You need to find someone that you're sexually appealed to or attractive to, whatever you want to call it, and has a good personality, because personality plays a big factor too. It's not always about body image that you have to date somebody or marry somebody. And we tend to focus on our bodies and how we look for other people, to be, appealing for other people. And that usually happens from when we're teenagers all the way till maybe, I would say, early 30s. And then once you get married and stuff, you get older, you're in your 40s, 50s, you have kids, your grandparents, like, that doesn't matter anymore, because now that I gotta pay bills, I gotta take care of my kids, my grandchildren, my
real
wife.
worries come into
The real
place.
problems, the real concerns that matter in life come into effect, and body image and body standards, it's irrelevant. So I just wanted to say thank you so much, Brianna, for being on this episode with me. I'm so proud that you took the time to discuss how you felt about this, and representing a lot of women. I know a lot of women may not agree with her and feel like there had to be more said about the topic. Well, I just want to say, like, no one's perfect, and she said what she had to say, and I applaud her for that. And I'm proud of myself as well for speaking on behalf of men. I know I may have not been totally accurate, and there's a lot of people that may disagree with me, but we're trying to speak for most people and try to watch what we say, not hurt anyone's feelings and try to be politically correct. So thank you so much, Brianna, for being on the show. Is there anything else you want to say?
I just want to say thank you for having me, and I'm really glad that we got to talk about this today. And like Chris said, I might not have, covered everything for everyone out there, but I speak on behalf of me and how I feel and about people that I know. And I'm really happy, and I think we touched on some good topics today. And yeah, I really think that social media does like really affect the way we our mental health and everything concerning beauty standards. And I think it's really important to talk about. So I'm really happy that we did that today.
Thank you so much. And before I end today's episode, I just wanted to say, uh, no matter how you look like, no matter how you sound like, no matter how you act like, if you're happy and proud of yourself where you're at that moment, and people judge you, do not listen to those people, ignore them, stick to what is working for you, what people appreciate about you, because you don't need haters, because as Taylor Swift says, haters gonna hate, you know. Um, yeah, so that's pretty much it. And don't forget to check my previous videos. I talk about mental health in the last video about Kanye West. It's not only about, his political campaign, it's about mental health too. And yes, people could say that both these videos are linked together. So, and if anything else interests you in my other videos concerning sports, movies, comics, and so on, make sure to check that out. Thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a good day, guys.